Because when Jesus returns, he's going to return in a powerful, amazing way where every eye will see. It's going to be like a thunderous lightning in the middle of the night, how it flashes and lights up the sky. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be just out of this world, and every eye is going to see. So it will not be in secret. He's not going to be hidden. He's not just going to pop up one day and nobody knows he's there. So when you see the abomination of death, now this right here is talking about after the rapture of the church. This is talking to the people that are here after God takes us out. So when you see the abomination of desolation, which remember, that's not going to happen until after we're taken out of the way. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken by the prophet Daniel standing in the holy place, let the reader understand it's trying to say that discern this correctly. This is a very important, it's like a highlight. Hey, this is important. Make sure you discern this and understand that when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, he wants you to understand that this is not Jesus or the Messiah. This is the Antichrist. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let the one who is on the housetop not go down to take what is in his house. And let the one who is in the field not turn back and take his cloak. So in other words, don't waste any time. Don't try to run back and grab your things. Get the heck out now. Go. Run. Run into hiding. And a loss for women who are pregnant and for those who are nursing infants in those days. Pray that your flight may not be in winter or on a Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulations, such as not been from the beginning of the world until now. No, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. So the tribulation is going to be so bad, so much destruction, that no matter what, it's eventually going to kill all of life, all of human beings. So, and if God didn't come, if Jesus doesn't return and cut it short, everyone will die. So if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. So Jesus will cut it short. And he will return before it gets so bad that it kills everybody. Then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. So in other words, don't believe somebody coming saying, hey, Jesus just came back, he's over there. Or, hey, Jesus is over here hiding in a secret room. Because when Jesus returns, he's going to return in a powerful, amazing way where every eye will see. It's going to be like a thunderous lightning in the middle of the night, how it flashes and lights up the sky. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be just out of this world, and every eye is going to see. So it will not be in secret. He's not going to be hidden. He's not just going to pop up one day and nobody knows he's there. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. So they're going to be so convincing that if the elect is not on guard, they will eventually believe it. See, I have told you beforehand. So if they say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. If they say, look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines as far as the west, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. Well, it don't say beast, but so will the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaking. The stars will fall from heaven. Wonder what that means. Some of the angels were called stars, like Lucifer was called the morning star. So I wonder if it's talking about angels falling from heaven, or if it's talking about meteors and stuff falling into the Earth's atmosphere and hitting the Earth. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and glory. So why do you think that people will look up and see Jesus returning? Why do you think they will mourn? I think it's because they spent all their time fighting against him, not believing in him. And when they finally see him, there's a sudden jolt in their spirit that says, oh my goodness, he's real. There he is, right there in front of us. We had an opportunity. Now it's too late. Now they're going to be scared. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. I believe he's talking about the people during the tribulation that turned to Christ, probably the Jews that turn back to him and start believing in Jesus. Because I believe many people are going to be saved during the tribulation. And some will be still alive and remaining when Jesus returns during his second coming, and he's going to send his angels out to gather his elect from the four winds. Now, here's something that I want to point out while we're here on this verse. He will send out his angels, remember angels, with a loud trumpet call, and they are the angels, will gather his elect from the four winds. The elect are the believers during the tribulation from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Now, in 1 Thessalonians, Paul was talking about the rapture of the church. During the rapture of the church, some people try to say the second coming is the same as the rapture is going to happen during this second coming. And they think that Matthew 24:31 says that his elect are going to be us, the believers. But here's the thing. In 1 Thessalonians, Paul says that Jesus himself will descend into the clouds, and we will be caught up to meet him in the air. Jesus is coming for his church during the rapture. He's not going to send the angels to come get us. He's coming himself. But during the second coming, right here in this verse, he's sending his angels out to gather his elect. So, we're clearly talking about two totally different events. In one event, during the rapture, Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming himself. But during the end of the tribulation, he's going to send his angels out to gather the elect. Let's see. From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as the branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So you can look at the trees and the plants and the flowers, and you can tell when spring's coming. You can tell when the summertime's coming, because they'll start to come out and bloom and blossom. And because of that, you can tell summer's on its way. So we need to look at these signs so that we may know that Jesus is coming. So just as we know that when the branches begin to put out leaves and begin to bloom, that summer's almost here, well, because of all these signs that Jesus is talking about, we can know that his coming is near. So also, when you see all these things, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Now, some people believe he's talking about the generation of when Israel returned, or when the Jews returned to Israel. I can't remember, 1941, 42, or 48, or I can't remember. I'll have to look it up, but you can Google it and see. But that generation is what some people think they're referring to. Now, the generation of the 1940s shall not pass away. I'm not dogmatic about this. I'm not 1,000% sure. I've been studying the book of Daniel, and I'm starting to get an idea, but I mean, it looks like that very well could be the case. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. So, Jesus is saying that heaven and earth will cease to exist. It will disappear. It will not be there anymore, but he always will be. And it says in 1 Thessalonians or in Matthew that I will return I will return and come back and get you so that you can be where I am. So if we're with Jesus and he never passes away, then we will never pass away either. We will be eternal. No one knows the day or hour, but concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, I just did a video on this. For as the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark. So they're all dancing and being merry and excited, no care in the world, having fun, enjoying the world, ignoring Noah's warnings, and living in sin and just living life how they wanted to live it. And Noah told them that it was fixing to rain and flood, and, in that day it never rained. The earth was mysteriously watered from the ground up. Mist would spring up from the ground to water the ground and stuff like that. So there was actually never any rainfall. So they thought that Noah was an idiot to even say such a thing. But until the day when Noah entered the ark, and they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away, so will the coming of the Son of Man. Everybody's going to be dancing and giving in marriage and having a party and just enjoying life and living in the world and not care and not believe the warnings from Christians and people trying to tell them, hey, please, 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 this is fixing to happen. Come to Jesus. But they're not going to listen until the Son of Man comes, and then it's going to be too late. And right here is where we go back, the beginning of this, Matthew 24 to 36. This is, Jesus is talking about the end times and the tribulation and everything. But then he goes back to the beginning where it all started in the before the tribulation. But concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. Talking about the rapture. And then he's talking about how everybody's just running and having fun and marrying and giving in marriage. And we even have same-sex marriages, and they're teaching that in our schools now. And it's, you know, we've got all this stuff going on, and everybody's unaware that Jesus is about to come, and it's fixing to be too late. He's fixing to come and take his church away, and millions of people are going to disappear. Then 2 men will be in a field, one will be taken and one left. 2 women will be grinding at a mill, one will be taken and one left. So this is talking about the rapture. You've got 2 men out in the field, and one of them disappears, and the other one's going to be left behind. Or 2 women grinding at the mill. One of them's going to disappear, and the other one will be left. It's the rapture, when Jesus comes and takes the people out. So he says, therefore stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore you must also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. So you have to stay awake. You have to, now this doesn't mean you can't go to bed and go to sleep, and we're talking spiritually. Stay spiritually awake. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep your eyes on the Word of God. And keep on keeping on. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom his master has set over his household to give them their food in their proper time? Blessed is the servant whose master will find so doing when he comes. So when he returns, the servant that is doing the will of his master will be the one that's blessed. Let's say your boss steps out of the office for a while, and then he returns, and one of you's working and doing what you're supposed to be doing, and the other one's just laying there not doing anything and being lazy. Who do you think's going to be rewarded? Probably the one that's doing the work and still going about his boss's business, what he's supposed to be doing. So that's what it's talking about here. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom his master has set over his household to give them food at the proper time? Blessed is the servant whom his master will find doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, or my boss is not coming back, or my boss is going to be a while, so I got time to sit around and do nothing, and begins to beat his fellow servants and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Put him with the hypocrites in a place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I think we're talking about eventually eternity in hell. Don't be caught off guard, guys. Don't be caught off guard.